Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Departure. I am going to be talking about Sheertex tights today. This is a product that I decided to give it a shot and try it out, and I just ordered them and got them in the mail last night. I actually filmed footage of me opening up the product and whatnot yesterday, but we had some technical issues with my GoPro and the audio did not record. So I am just jumping on here right now to film the rest of this video and show you guys what I bought. So as you know, I'm a flight attendant and I work in what I think is a pretty image conscious career. There are uniforms and rules to abide by within wearing your uniform. So one of the things that we wear are tights or nylons, whatever you'd like to call them. Tights are something that I absolutely live in. I am always in them, and I've definitely learned over the years what I like and what I do not like. I've also had a lot of issues with tights ripping in the inner thighs, in the toe area, and also in the buttocks area, because sometimes my job as a flight attendant can be very physical and we are standing up, sitting down, moving around, lifting things. So you definitely need your tights to be able to withstand all of those different movements that you're going out through the day. Another thing, I have really long nails and they look terrible right now because I'm gonna paint them later today. I am pulling at my tights a lot of the time if they're riding down, and I have snagged and ripped so many tights just purely from that force of lifting them up my either calf or thigh area. It's a very sad day when you are pulling your tights up and then you're like right through them with your nails. So this brand is one that I have been seeing all over my Instagram feed, and maybe you have too, or maybe I just have because I'm a flight attendant, and that is a targeted audience right there with all of the Instagram ads that always come across my feed. As you may know, I am beginning to wear my new flight attendant uniform as of March 2nd, and our new uniform is a blue tone. It's like kind of a darker blue, more along the navy side. It's actually called, I believe, aviation blue or something like that. I really wanted to wear some nude tights with this new uniform, but my biggest issue is nude tights never last for me. Literally never. And it's really funny actually, when I went to interview as a flight attendant, I had bought nylons for the interview and I put them on before I went to the training center to interview, and as I was pulling them on, I ripped them. So literally the whole interview time, the rip was up by my upper thigh, and the whole interview time I was like, oh no, my tights are ripped. And by the end of the interview day, they were to my knee, and I was super embarrassed, and I was like, I'm not gonna get the job because my nylons ripped. But here we are 3 years from then, and I got the job. It's definitely an issue out there, and I have dealt with it over the past 3 years now. So here are my Sheertex tights. I went with the darker color of nude because the lighter ones were a little bit too pink for my own personal style or look that I wanted, and I think this is going to complement the blue of my dress so well. So right here on the tights we have a very thick waistband, which is great, and these are the backs. There's a nice seam on the back and a nice seam on the front as well, and then the toes have a toe guard, which is really great because that is necessary for me and my toenails and my past experiences with tights and ripping through them. I also tried it out last night with a paring knife. It's a pretty sharp knife, just flat out, putting it right on the tights. I was making marks on the tights and I was able to stretch the tights still, and there was maybe a little bit a line there from where I had put the knife on the tight, but just flat out, I mean, the tights still held up. So if they can hold up like that with a paring knife, I'm sure they are no match for my long fingernails. I feel like my long fingernails will not be ripping through the tights. I tried them on last night and they felt so good on. They felt thick and protective, which I really like, but also see-through in the best way, because I didn't want them to look like I just literally had like a pant on. I wanted them to feel like tights because that is the look I was going for. You can even see as I pull them like this, you can see how the material stretches a little bit more, and on my side you can see how the light comes through the material. I want these to be loud and proud when I wear my uniform the first day, but we will see how this holds up as I begin wearing them with my toes, with my thighs, and also just, you know, wear and tear of jump seats and passengers and bags and all that fun stuff that you encounter on the plane. Now, they do consider this item to be an intimate item, so their return/exchange policy policy is that once you have it and you open it, you cannot exchange it or return it unless there is something wrong with it, as in like a factory issue and the manufacturing it was not correctly done. I'm just going to note this just because I was actually so impressed with the customer service that they offer. When I first got them, there was kind of an issue on the material on the right leg and it looked very different than the left leg, but I emailed them. They got back to me within 5 minutes and I was so impressed by that customer service experience with them. So even though there was something wrong with my tights, they are sending me a new pair and I was just super impressed by how quick they were to respond, which was awesome. But this product is supposed to be the last pair of tights you have to buy because they hold up so good. So even though they have a higher price point, they are supposed to be super quality items. And for me, I live in my tights, so buying a product that is going to last me so long is super important for me. And I decided to just jump in and get a pair because they were 20% off and give them a shot. Plus, as a flight attendant, I know a lot of other flight attendants I know have asked about these before, so I wanted to make a video for our flight attendant community to share my experience once I start wearing them. This is my second day wearing the Sheertex tights, so I'm kind of getting a more well-rounded view on them and what I think about them. And I actually got a snag in them, so I wanted to show you guys that. I was sitting on my jump seat and I looked down and I was like, oh my word. And I really have no idea where it came from because it's on the top of my thigh, which my skirt actually covers it when I'm standing, so I literally have no idea where it came from. Yeah, they snagged, which is okay though because they snagged and they didn't rip. That's the big kicker with tights, is when they snag and then you have a run in your tight and they're just completely ripped. This is more like when you have some fabric thread and it gets pulled out a little bit, but the material is still held together. So I was very impressed by that because you know what, snags, no big deal. It's when it snags and runs that it becomes the issue. Right now, I still like them and I've been enjoying wearing them, and I think that the nude looks really great with the uniform. I think it absolutely complements this blue part of the uniform, which is exciting to me because I can have a pair of nude tights that will last me more than literally one day or one trip. So I'm going to wear them for one more day because I think 3 days is enough for me to kind of get some real world experience in these tights, and I can tell you if they do work or not, because nude tights in the past have been a real issue for me completing a 3-day trip. I literally can't remember a time where I ever wore nude tights and lasted more than one day on my trip. Okay, fast forwarding about 3 weeks since I first wore my Sheertex tights on a 3-day trip. Now that I've worn them for a couple weeks, I wanted to give my final opinion on them and final review, exactly what I thought. Kind of similar to when I first wore them. They are a great product. I really like them. I got a lot of compliments on them actually because the uniform looks really great with nude tights. One point for Sheertex was that people really did think the tights looked nice. A normal amount of slide down that I normally have with tights, and I partially just think it's because of my body and the shape of my body and my legs and stuff, how tights kind of fit me, which is not a negative at all. I actually would be super curious to know what the longs look like. It was kind of hard when ordering them because I fell in the category of the normal, just regular leg length, but I'm also on the higher end of the height, kind of just, you know, in general, because I am 5'7", but also I don't have super long legs. So I definitely think if you have really long legs, go with the longs because that's going to be really important with you. But I did read reviews with people saying, oh, I went with the long because I'm tall and I was afraid they'd be too short on me, and then they were kind of too long, so they were kind of sagging. So I'm like, you know what, I pull up tights either way, like no matter what kind of tights I have, unless they're like the really thick ones. Like those are the only ones that really kind of stay perfectly up on me all day. But even like my Lululemon leggings, I pull those up throughout the day too. So I think in regards to kind of the fit, they're super great. They're super true to size. I definitely like them. Really love the waistband. I mean, this was just really comfortable. I wish you could feel it because the thickness is just, it's really there. It's really great. And yeah, they were really comfortable. So I liked that about them. And in regards to that kind of like pull slash snag I had in them, I mean, they still are together. There is no hole in them, and that for me was the real big kicker. The only thing that I noticed was the fabric kind of started to get a pull, and it kind of looks funny. I took a video of it while I was on the train one day. I don't know if you can kind of see here, but there's kind of this weird, I don't even know what I would call that, but it gets this weird kind of pull in it. and I just think it's kind of similar to my first pair that I got. They just are weird like that, and I wear these very frequently, so I'm curious to see how that will last over time. I think for the price point, they are expensive. They're like $60 for a pair of tights. I don't even really like to spend that much for a pair of pants, but I'm kind of cheap when it comes to clothing, even though like my leggings are expensive. I know that I'll have those for a while, and so it's kind of hard to be like, wow, I want to spend $60 on a pair of tights that potentially will rip in 6 months. At least my jeans and my leggings, like for example Lululemons, are usually around 100. Those I've had for years, and they're super great, super reliable, super great company, so I trust that. That was my worry with the tights, is do I want to spend $60 when I could have to replace these in 6 months? I'd rather spend $6 for a pair that I know I like, that I would be willing to spend another $6 in 6 months just in case they rip. Like I said previously, what drew me to these was the ability to have a nude pair of tights that didn't rip the first time I wore them. Price point wise, if you are looking for a nice pair of nude tights that do not rip, and you wear tights semi-frequently, like maybe a handful of times a month, not every day for sometimes potentially 6 to 7 days in a row, then this is a good product for you. I would definitely recommend the Sheertex tights to someone who's looking for a reliable pair of tights that will last and that are comfortable and that won't just snag the first time you wear them. I would be super curious to try the black really sheer tights that are just so extremely sheer, because I do not trust normal nylons or tights or whatever that are like that. Yeah, the price point is definitely high. If you wear them frequently enough that you want something reliable, I would definitely recommend investing in some Sheertex tights. If you're wearing them almost every day of the month, maybe just stick to a pair that you already like that's a lower price point. But again, if you need the nude that's reliable and you wear them infrequently, I would recommend these. Also, I will put a link down below with the specific pair and information on the size that I got, so go ahead and check that out if you are interested in getting this same product. That is my experience wearing Sheertex tights for a month. Maybe I'll do another check-in during one of my vlogs just to see how these hold up in another 6 months. But also, I'm not flying as frequently right now because of world circumstances and whatnot. I'm kind of bummed because now I'm not going to be able to try these out for another whole month in a row. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, getting to see me do a review on an item that I was super excited to try out, that I really thought could possibly be a valuable item for me in my everyday work life. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also comment down below if you have tried Sheertex tights, or if you have any great tight recommendations as well. I'm always looking for some of those and I very much appreciate them. Don't forget to also subscribe to the Daily Departure and make sure to hit the bell icon so you're getting notifications when I'm posting new videos, because I'm always traveling and creating more content to give you some insight on the life of a flight attendant. And I will see you next time on the Daily Departure.